Welcome to China Mimic, your insight to the Australian visa system. Good day everyone, my name is Carl Young, your online YouTube visa consultant. Are you interested about migrating to Australia? Why don't you consider to subscribe to my channel and turn a little bell on the side, so once we have all the updates and news, you'll be the first one of getting all the insight. Now in this video we would like to update with you some of the occupation has been newly announced in addition for the Western Australia skill migration. So I think it was on Friday, the news came out. I wasn't have enough time to actually get this updated, so today I'll get this done for you, a very quick video. Now prior to that, let's check out what's happening in Queensland. Now Queensland seems to be now today the Queensland Premier actually announced the border will be open, but not for international, for domestic. So open for New South Wales and all the other states travelers into Queensland, and it seems to be the actual state skill migration is still on pause. There's no updates of that yet. I think Queensland is actually waiting for the international border to be actually open to actually get this done, but in this point of time, very interestingly, over the other side of the country, of the nation, in Western Australia, now they have somehow improved their website a little bit. Now they have this, if you look at this at the top of my head, it shows current processing time. I'm not too sure whether that 28 is actually very accurate or not. Or if you have any friends who actually apply EOI through Western Australia, is that true? Is that actually 28 days? You get actually get invited. Let me know in the comment. Now let's have a look on the 15th of October. So that was 3 days ago. Will be Friday. The Western Australia, they actually have this latest news thingo finally. Now although they don't send any notification to anyone, and there's no I don't think there's any news subscriptions. I'm not too sure how people actually know about the updates, and that's what happened to me. I actually found out that from other industry and also information, because I generally scan through all the different states migration web page, and I found this. So anyhow, make sure to subscribe to my channel. Okay, now Migration Services is implementing a number of changes for the WASMOL, Western Australian Skill Migration Occupation List. It's very hard to pronounce this. So Schedule 1 and the Graduate Occupation List. Now there are two schedules. If we come on over here, WASMOL does have Schedule 1 and Schedule 2. The differences is one requires experiences and one doesn't. So I think the Schedule 1, let's go in there that quick have a look. The Schedule 1 require work experiences, I think. Here you go. Yes, you need to have work experiences, at least 1 year Australian work experience or 3 years overseas work experiences. Let's jump back now. Schedule 2 doesn't have the requirement for all work experiences, but they all require to have a employment contract in order to actually be nominated by the state of Western Australia. So the following occupation are no longer considered regional WA only, meaning that applicant can use employment contract from Perth or anywhere else in Western Australia to meet the requirement. So generally it's all the nurses. I'm not too sure why they would need that. I think they're getting ready for the border to be open. Why am I saying that? Because at the moment Western Australia is locked themselves very strictly, very hard. They don't want anyone from any other state of Australia to actually travel there. And obviously the border for the international is closed as well, so they're all fine, but they haven't got any numbers of COVID, but obviously the international border is required to be open. So once it opens, you get people traveling from all the other different countries around Europe, Asia, you naming, America, and I think they're getting ready for the major city to get that hit. Ultimately there will be a spike, but hopefully it will be a smooth control, as the nation has planned for their phase 1, 2, 3, 4, and the vaccination rate is all up now. Not too sure, but Australia is gonna take the big test now. Whether or not it's gonna be like how the Singapore is, because Singapore just hit they're on double jabs and 85 something percent, but they still get 3,500 something cases for the past week or weeks. So I think Australia is getting that ready, and Western Australia is wanting to get that ready, so they want more nurses. Now these nurses can come from different states, so I think Western Australia is utilizing the criteria to attract the nurses in all the other states to going over, but you make sure you need to get an employment contract, okay? And there's also social workers. Obviously there will be, if things do go as planned. As planned is that the living with the virus, there will be a lot of people going into Centrelink and seeking for social fares, welfares thingo. Okay, now they are also getting available for the GOL. It's the graduate occupation list. So if you have study in Western Australia, so over the weekend I've got a lot of people coming in and ask, oh, I've got this financial investment advisor or financial investment managers skill assessed, but they're overseas. So the problem is, generally financial professional is actually very hard, but looks like the Western Australia is opening it up, but only for people who have studied 2 years in Western Australia. So if you haven't been studying in Western Australia and you hold these professions qualification somewhere else, that's not for you. So a lot of people commented and contacted me, say, look, am I available from this? I said, look, where did you study? Did you study in Perth? If not, then I'm sorry, you're out. Okay, so accountant, aeroplane pilot, architect, barrister, commodity trader, drainer, early childhood teacher, education psychologist, flying instructor, horse trainer, insurance broker, maintenance planner, occupation health safety advisor, primary school teacher, school principal, secondary teacher. So it looks like all the teachers are all included. As long as you study education in Western Australia, you're welcome. And the lawyers are all, giving their opportunities there. Solicitor and barrister, you want to study law, LLB in Western Australia, there we go, here's your opportunity. So I think that's very good. Special need teacher, stockbroking dealer. I'm not too sure why they need that in Western Australia. Probably there will be people over there are having too much money. They need to get some good financial broker and the stockbroking dealer. Anyway, taxation, accountant, teacher, hearing parent, teachers, all type of teachers, urban regional planner, welfare worker, and youth worker. Now the GOL, let's look at the GOL's requirement, the graduate stream. Obviously you need to live in there, and you need to pass all this English test. You need to get a qualification from Western Australia, pretty sure. Study 2 years, and these are uni or TAFE are the accredited Western Australian uni or higher education providers, and the accredited vet institutions or English language programs, evidence of awards, and meet work experience and employment contract requirements. So you must have at least 6 months Australian work experiences in the occupation, or a 6 months contract employment. So as long as you've been working there for 6 months, or you have been offered for a job, obviously for your occupation, then you're in. So basically that's what the Western Australia offers. Do you think it's a great opportunity? I think Western Australia is getting ready for the post-pandemic, obviously, and getting ready for the international border to be open. So they need all these kind of people. Again, Western Australia is counted as regional Australia. So the points there and the migration opportunities there is obviously higher and better than Victoria and New South Wales. Obviously, you have probably seen my video on the weekend about Northern Territory and Tasmania. Now, pretty sure I'll prefer Western Australia over Northern Territory and Tasmania. What is your thought? Why don't you leave a comment right down below, and I see you next video. Goodbye.